Welcome. Today, we're diving into a surprising truth. Intelligence doesn't protect us from making mistakes. Many assume that being smart means fewer errors, but reality is more complicated. Intelligence is linked to quick learning and strong reasoning, yet even the brightest minds fall into predictable traps. Why? Because intelligence doesn't erase bias or blind spots. In fact, it can sometimes make mistakes more likely by boosting confidence and speeding up decision-making. Smart people may repeat errors, not because they lack ability, but because their strengths can become weaknesses. Understanding this is the first step to thinking more clearly. Let's explore how these patterns unfold and why even the smartest among us aren't immune to error. Intelligent minds excel at spotting patterns, which helps solve problems quickly. But this strength can become a shortcut. When something feels familiar, the brain may jump to conclusions, skipping over important details. This pattern-based thinking can lead to confident but incorrect answers, especially when subtle differences are missed. Over time, repeated success builds trust in one's instincts, making it easy to overlook the need for doubt or double-checking. Systems often reward quick, confident answers, reinforcing the habit of moving fast. The result? Overconfidence grows and assumptions go unchecked. This isn't about arrogance, it's about how success can quietly reinforce habits that lead to predictable mistakes. Bias is a universal human trait, but intelligence can actually make it harder to spot. Smart people are often skilled at defending their reasoning, which can shift their focus from asking if they're right to proving they must be right. This selective logic means supporting evidence is noticed more, while challenging evidence is minimized. Complexity adds another layer. Intelligent minds often enjoy nuanced theories, but this can obscure simple truths. Sometimes the simplest answer is correct, but it gets overlooked in favor of more elaborate explanations. Overthinking and valuing complexity can delay decisions and hide practical solutions. Recognizing these tendencies is key to clearer, more effective thinking. Their common pitfall is relying too much on internal reasoning. Intelligent people often trust their own thought process, which can feel complete and convincing. But logic alone isn't enough. Real-world testing and outside feedback are essential. When feedback is ignored or delayed, mistakes can persist longer than they should. Overusing familiar strengths, like analytical thinking, can also be a problem. Not every challenge is a logic puzzle. Emotional awareness and flexibility are sometimes needed. If the same mental tools are used for every situation, blind spots develop. Recognizing when to seek feedback and when to adapt your approach is crucial for avoiding these predictable errors. Pressure amplifies these tendencies. Under stress, the brain defaults to what feels natural, fast reasoning and internal solutions. This narrows attention and increases reliance on shortcuts, making mistakes more likely. These errors often repeat because they're reinforced by past success. If a flawed strategy still leads to success, the brain learns to trust it, and small errors go unnoticed. Feedback may arrive too late, making consequences feel sudden and disconnected from the original mistake. Breaking this cycle requires awareness and a willingness to slow down, question assumptions, and seek out disagreement before acting. How can we avoid these predictable mistakes? The answer isn't to become less intelligent, but to add friction to our thinking. Slowing down, questioning first instincts, and actively seeking disagreement can interrupt automatic patterns. It's also important to separate confidence from correctness. Just because you feel sure doesn't mean you're right. The strongest thinkers stay curious about where their reasoning might fail and challenge their own ideas. By doing so, they avoid the trap of defending conclusions and instead focus on improving their thinking. Awareness, not just intelligence, is what leads to better decisions. Wrap up, intelligence is a powerful tool, but it's not a shield against error. In fact, it can sometimes make mistakes more likely by speeding up conclusions, strengthening bias, and reinforcing confidence. Smart people make predictable mistakes not because they lack ability, but because they trust their ability too much. The key to better thinking isn't just being smarter, it's being more aware of how your mind works, especially when you feel most certain. Careful, reflective thinking is what truly matters. Thanks for joining today's breakdown. Remember, the goal isn't to think faster, but to think more carefully.